Welcome to Pigskin Platoon. So we're your hosts. I'm Boston.
And I'm Christian.
So we talk about it all. Dynasty offense and defense, who to start, who to sit. We also talk about trades, rumors, rookie drafts, and breaking news on players and coaches. Draft, deploy, dominate.
Welcome in.
Oh
All right.
man.
All right. So the topic that we're going to be talking about is we're going to be doing the top five on each side of our side as far as our sleepers go for this upcoming year dynasty. So the first guy I got, he's a tight end, plays for the uh, Los Angeles Chargers. Um, he's not very traditional as a tight end, but he actually in college he was a receiver. And so I kind of like he's kind of like a molding into like a better version of a tight end. I guess like the new era of tight ends. Is Aronde Gaston the second. Um, for fantasy and dynasty, he's definitely gonna be the guy that's gonna give you a lot of like gold when it comes to the amount of points that they put up. And I mean, look at his quarterback. He's got Justin Herbert, still, in my opinion, a little underrated still as a quarterback. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to take for that team to get over that hump, but I know this guy is going to be definitely part of that build that future that they're looking for. I definitely liked what I've seen of him in the past like year or so that I've watched him, and then especially in college as well. Um, One thing that stood out to me a lot was like he's not much of like a blocking tight end, but and that's the more bigger concern. I'm not really too worried about that. I mean, yes, in NFL, of course, we want to have a good blocking tight end, but this guy's like not really the idea. And but his route running is phenomenal and his catching is phenomenal. It showed last year in the red zones as well for when he got uh, the points that he did. And I think he's going to definitely pop off this year. He's going to have a much bigger role this year. And the way I can compare him to is more of like Travis Kelsey and like Mark Andrews type, like that kind of a
Mm.
tight end. Not much of a blocking, but very, very good at catching and very good at his route runnings for a tight end.
Yeah, definitely not too bad. I mean, look at him. He had 49 receptions for 664 yards.
Yeah.
And it's only his rookie year. It was only his
Yep.
rookie year last year. 3 touchdowns. That's pretty dang good.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
he pretty much. I mean, it took a little while. I mean, he definitely wasn't a starting tight end,
mhm,
but I think that now he is going to be that starting tight end for sure.
mhm.
All right. So who do you have for your number one sleeper?
I know a lot of people don't think he's that good, don't think he's a sleeper, but I personally think it's Isaiah Likely going to the Giants here. Jim Harbaugh picked him up for a reason, or yeah, and Jim. So he picked him up for a reason when he drafted when he was playing when he was the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, and I just predict Isaiah is going to do a lot better with being tight end number one and getting into I mean, because you saw what was it last year? No, it was the year before. You saw how good he did at the most critical times for those guys. It's kind of hard to play behind a guy like Mark Andrews. So now that he's like the solidified tight end one, he should do absolutely amazing this year.
100% agree with that. Yeah. I mean, he definitely went to a really good position with
Mhm.
the Giants, and he's following his coach. And I think now it's going to be a good like challenge. I think they're going to open up that role between him and Theo Johnson. Even though I really like Theo Johnson, but with Isaiah Likely now being there, I think he's going to get more favored And a lot of people don't really talk about that. And a lot of people think that Theo Johnson's still the guy. But I mean, there's that possibility that he can be. He could still be that guy. But Isaiah Likely, the connection that he has with Harbaugh is because they came from the same team and he
Yeah.
already knows what he is capable of. And I think that you're right. I think he's definitely going to be a guy that's going to elevate to being the number one tight end. And he
Hmm.
could definitely be, I don't, he might break in the top 10, I would say.
Hmm.
I would
I
like
can
to
see that.
think that he would be a top 10 tight end.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, in the course of his career there, you got 195 total targets, 1,568 yards, 15 touchdowns. So you know he's going to be there in those critical red zone plays, man. He's going to be really good. So that gets
Yeah.
me excited. I just want to see what he's going to do with Jackson Dart tossing him the rock instead of Lamar Jackson. Because
Yeah.
with Lamar Jackson, you got to Jackson Dart's more of a pocket passer than Lamar Jackson was.
Hmm.
So right there, he's gonna get it thrown to him more. And then Theo Johnson did really good last year. He had his flash and his moments. He was just absolutely there for Jackson Dart and did amazing. So it's gonna be
Hmm.
interesting to see a guy with more experience behind him sitting there catching it from that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to see how the Giants do well this year. I know
Hmm.
that they had their off-field issues going on right now, and I hope that they can solve them and squash all that issues. I know some people might be out the door, but that's okay because then it's going to open up opportunities for some of these other guys that are sitting in there waiting, like Abdul Carter. I think Abdul
Yeah.
Carter is definitely going to probably someone that you want to keep an eye out when you're doing your dynasty year one leagues or your fantasy leagues. I mean, not so much for fantasy, but for dynasty,
Hmm.
absolutely. You want to have this guy like definitely on your bench for now until you start seeing his production. Even though he didn't have much last year, but I think with the new coaching staff and the new team, I think this team is definitely built for a really good future.
I
And
agree.
I've been
Agree.
in favor of the Giants right now for a while, and I think that they have a good run coming up.
I think they're gonna be a team that's gonna surprise everybody.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, so coming in at my second player, like I said before, we also are going to be talking about a lot of defense IDPs for dynasties. So it is a trickier situation of a subject, but it's always fun to kind of like bring out something fresh as well. So one guy that was on the Green Bay Packers is now on the Raiders, but with his time being with the Packers, Quay Walker was a solidified linebacker one. And the volume that he had there is like insane. Um, as an IDP option, he is super undervalued, but I think he's going to be a top five, maybe even top three linebacker after the season. Um, he's pretty much he was an every down linebacker for the Green Bay Packers, and the consistent high snap shares that he had was insane. And then looking at his career stats here in 2022, he played 17 games. He had total tackles of 121, and 75 of them were solos. He had a 1.5 sacks. Um, he had three forced fumbles, and then pass deflections he had seven. So and he was actually at the end of his rookie year, he was all rookie team. He was like named for that. And then so yeah, he made an immediate impact with the Packers. And then in 2023, he played 14 games. He had 118 tackles. He had 2.5 sacks, and then he had one interception that took it to the house. And then he had three pass deflections as well. So it's like he's 1 point. He's like he's really good in some areas than others in each year so far. But the one thing that he has been consistent so far in his first 2 years was definitely his tackles ability, and that's what you want in a linebacker uh, for your IDP defense for Dynasty. And so 2024, he had 13 games with 102, so it's a slight drop, but still there in every tackle that he was part of. He had 2.5 sacks, and then he had two deflections. And then in 2025, he had a really good year with 14 games that he played for a total of 128 career high tackles with 2.5 sacks and then five deflections. So literally going from 121 to 118 to 102, then 128. He's so consistent. 4 straight seasons over 100 tackles per season, which is amazing. So the only risks that I see in him, and I'm hoping that this is the reason why the Raiders took him, is maybe they can fix these issues. It's not much, but is the coverage issue. He's not he struggles a little bit when it comes to coverage, but when you need him to tackle, he's gonna get you those tackle points. And that's where like what we talked about in our first episode is that the tackles are going to be your bread and butter. That's where those linebackers, that those elite type, the linebackers are going to be the ones that you want to have on your team. And this is going to be one of those guys that I feel like he's going to elevate himself to being one of the top uh linebackers in the league this year.
Yeah, I agree. And Raiders defense has always been super good. You got Max Crosby back there, so you got just adding another weapon there, man. It's going to be insane for that team.
Yeah. And I actually compared him to like Roquan Smith and Forsyth Oluokun, and then also a slight bit of Michael Parsons as well.
Mhm.
Um, he is he is going to be an issue wherever he goes, and that's why just like Michael Parsons, he's an issue where whichever team he goes on, he's not going to be able to change or get worse or deplete what his capabilities are. And so that's why I choose him as like someone that no one really talks about as much. And I think that that's where, you know, he's going to continue his reign of over 100 tackles this year.
Mhm. All right. I got Jack Campbell, linebacker for the Lions. He's only his second year in the league, so he did pretty good for his first year. Or no, sorry, third year in the league. Um, he's good, man. He's gotten 8.5 sacks, no interceptions. That's okay though. But his first year he had 95 total tackles. He jumped up to 131, and then jumped again to 176. Man, he's going to be a force behind that defensive line for your defense and dynasty.
Mhm.
And that's the best thing is like you look at him and he is just in every play possible that he can be. He's getting tackles, he's jumping on the assists, and yeah, he's going to be exciting to see of more of. And I don't think people probably talk about him enough for defense this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's definitely still in a really good position of being with the Lions, and I think with the Lions, Jack Campbell is still a underrated linebacker, and I think this will be another year where he proves himself that he is a solidified like elite linebacker, and I
Hmm.
think this year would be a good year to do it.
I think so. See if these guys can get themselves far enough in the playoffs and maybe get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Got to get
it's a
through.
stretch, but I think so too.
Hmm. Got to get through your team this year.
Yeah. All right, and so coming in at number 3 for me, or I'm sorry, excuse me, number 4 for me. Um, actually, did I say 3? Oh, I did. My bad. Coming in at number 3, my bad. I have Romeo Dobbs, He just he was on the Green Bay Packers with a list of depth of receivers on that team, a bunch of names, and now I think with him being overlooked so like in the past couple years, um, being flashy here and there when he was with them, and it sucks because like he was with a bunch of other names on that team, and it seems like every year they just keep drafting another receiver for Jordan Love, and so like some people kind of forget that Romeo Dobbs was a big part of it during his 2023 breakout season, and then he had a good role with 2020 in 2025. So now with him being gone and now being with the Patriots, I think this is going to be a really good receiver as long as the Patriots, you know, take care of and tackle some of the more bigger needs first before they look at receivers. They can get receivers. I mean, there's a good list of receivers coming out this year, and they don't need to be stressed about receivers. They have a wide receiver one right here, and I think um, with the point of Romeo Dobbs entering into that, who knows if AJ Brown's going to be on there, but we got to look at who's there currently right now and sitting. Um, I think if they don't go with AJ Brown, they're not going to kill themselves with money in their cap space, which would be the smarter idea. If the Patriots want to succeed again, they have to get they have to get the people that they can get cheap that they know are really good and why we choose them as our sleepers. So in 2023, just to kind of like show back in his breakout season, he had 59 receptions for 674 yards and 8 touchdowns at the red zone, and then he had 11. It was about 11.4 per carry. So pretty solid. And then it even rose even a little bit higher with 700 plus receiving yards in 2025. Um, so the volume is there, and that's where I think that Romeo Dobbs is going to make a bigger impact and a more trustworthy receiver for Drake May. Drake May doesn't need someone that he can just toss the rock all the way down the field. He needs someone that's going to be there to bail him out when he needs it, when he's getting under pressure so much. And I think Romeo Dobbs is going to be that guy that a lot of people are not going to be really expecting to uh, to hit that top 20, maybe top 10 receivers this year.
And yeah, I mean, look at that. They don't have Stephon Diggs now. This guy
Mhm.
perfectly going to step into that spot. It's going to be amazing. I mean, what, last year, 724 yards? He's going to break 1,000 yards this year, easily. And I'm going to
Yeah.
say easily 8 touchdowns. He's going to eclipse that 23 season with Drake May throwing him the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely got amazing hands. I mean, he was fighting for that wide receiver one with Jaden Reed for Pete's
Mhm.
sake. I mean, Jaden Reed is good. He's really good. And then you got Matthew Golden now over there, and you got Christian Watson, and then you got Dontavian Wicks. So you have all these guys that he was always keeps fighting for that receiver one, receiver two position. And I think now, like he's probably, I mean, who knows what he's thinking, but he's probably going to be like he's probably happy that he's now not having to worry about as much of a pressure to get those targets that he really wants. We all know that,
Mhm.
he loves them big targets.
Mhm. All right. I got another tight end here, Juwan Johnson. He kind of flew under the radar for a couple years, but the big thing for that, big reason for that was just not really having a tight end, or not having a real quarterback, and then sitting behind Taysom Hill. This year, he had 189 yards. He averaged 11 and a half per catch or reception, 3 touchdowns. Not like big, but man, last year when I was doing Dynasty for just like the ESPN fantasy, and he was Mr. Consistent. I was getting 10 plus points out of him every single week. And it was he was most likely the guy that was pushing me over to win games. And I picked him up just because he was sitting there, and there was really no other really solid tight ends there. And I'm like, yep, I am so glad I picked him up for this. But I think he's only going to do better because now he's going to have Tyler Shuck the whole entire season and not be
Mhm.
splitting it with Spencer Rattler. And man, he was the go-to guy for him when he needed him the most. I mean, only 3 touchdowns, but still 11 and a half yards per carry. So, I mean, per reception, I think he's just going to continue to go up.
Yeah, yeah, you made a good point with Tyler Shock, and I think with the tight end that Juwan Johnson has now, there's a lot of upside with that tight end.
Mhm.
And with Taysom Hill, unfortunately not being there anymore, you know, I think Johnson has now like that full path of succeeding. And
Yeah.
I can only hope from what we saw in the rookie year of Tyler Shock that it can only get better from here.
Hmm.
And hopefully he doesn't decrease in value of his quality of play time and the way that he plays. Um, because he shocked a lot of people, and he definitely shocked me when it came to how well he did for his rookie year. So yeah, that's a really good sleeper.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what he can do.
I agree. All right, and then coming at number 4 for me is Chase Brown, running back out of Cincinnati Bengals. Uh, so his career stats that I got for him. Just another one of those guys that kind of was sitting behind Joe Mixon in the very beginning, but then like really started rising up and then showing that he's like a really good workhorse. From 2023 to 2025, his rushing game consisted of 45 games, 505 carries, 2,188 rushing yards, so about 4.3 per carry, and then 13 touchdowns. And then in receiving, he had 137 receptions. Receiving yards, he had 953, and then receiving touchdowns, he had 10. So, like in all around so far in his career with the Bengals, he's like been a workhorse, and he's also been that reliable guy when Jamar Chase and T. Higgins has not been available. But his true breakout year was 2024.
Hmm.
He had 229 carries, 990 yards, and 7 touchdowns, with 54 catches, 360 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Nearly 1,350 total yards with 11 touchdowns. And then he had the full workload in 2025, which then really showed who he was with 232 carries, 1,019 yards, and 6 touchdowns, 69 catches, 437 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So honestly, like 1,400 plus yards of scrimmage yards and 11 touchdowns. Like that's pretty dang impressive.
Hmm.
Um, and you know what's another thing with him?
What?
No injuries.
That's true.
Now they say they won't, but right
Hmm.
now with the way that they use him and they utilize him, he is a league winner given the opportunity. So I think with the system that Chase Brown's in, I think
Hmm.
with Joe Burrow and the receivers that he has, like I think Joe Burrow has a really good weapons around him, and Chase
I think
Brown
so.
just kind of like, in my opinion, he kind of came out of nowhere, came out of the scene, and just really been like showing out how well he's been so far in this year or in this
Hmm.
career of his.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. I
But
can see him. I can see him finishing like the top 8 in fantasy this year.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Man, makes me want to pick him up.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy how, when I looked at his career stats, and it's just kind of impressed me like how well like he really showed. And I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't really think he was like that crazy good.
Hmm.
So hopefully they don't draft anybody that's gonna replace him or be above him, because that would kind of like devastate me.
Yeah. All right. So I got the newest running back to the Detroit Lions, old Kansas City Chief running back, Isaiah Pacheco. I'm a Broncos fan, and I hated seeing him on the field because, man, when he would run, he'd get dangerous out there, and it's scary. Like, I'm like, oh, And I realize his past 2 years, his production's dipped because of injuries. I get that, and I understand, but I, man, that Kansas City offensive line wasn't that great last year, and I think the Lions, you got a good offensive line, and we're getting Sonic his knuckles back now. Isaiah's, yeah,
We'll still have to
Isaiah's
see
gonna,
about that one.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But well, yeah, I mean, you look at what was able to do and get the yards that he's needed. I mean, his longest career was 48 yards on a run. Great. And then he's also a receiving back as well. So, I mean, he's gotten his 4 years, 5 years? No, his 4 years with the Chiefs. He's got a 554 yards rushing, and he's got receiving, and then 2,537 yards rushing, or rushing.
Hmm.
So I just think he's great. I think he's going to do good, and I think giving him a change of scenery with, I would say, a better offensive line, he should do really good. And we're going to be back to that, I would say, top 10 running back next year. I might be stretching, I don't know, but I
Wow,
think he's still
top
going to be really
10.
good. I think so.
That
I think he
is
gets
a
23.
that's a reach, man. That's a reach.
I think he'll get that 23 season back, man, when he had 205 carries for 935 yards and 7 TDs.
Wow.
I think it'll be back.
With Jameer Gibbs being in front of him, you're pretty confident that
I'm pretty
Chaco
confident
will
in it.
be a top 10.
Yeah. It'll be a 1-2 punch there.
Well, I gotta say, the way that Detroit has used David Montgomery in the past, because with David Montgomery even playing for Chicago, he 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 was good, but like he wasn't known until he got to Detroit, and Detroit really made him more popular.
Yeah.
And that's where I think like now he's even on the Texans now, where I think he's going to be probably the RB1. Um, and I can only see him probably thanking Detroit for giving him the opportunity he has with Jahmyr Gibbs to bump him up to being an RB1 with Houston. So who knows? I mean, I don't know if I would stretch it to top 10, but
It
with
might be a
Isaiah
little.
Pacheco resurge or the his career coming up, yeah, I could see it. All right, guys. The main event, the the biggest topic that we have saved. We
Man, and
have what's that? Go ahead.
this has been a talk all day too.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been battling it, like talking about who's going to be over who on this one. This one's a little bit different of who we think is a sleeper on this position. Um, the way that we had it is where this guy is going to be the RB2, we already know. So and we're not expecting this guy to be the RB1, obviously, unless the RB1 gets injured. But we've had a lot of discussion all day today about these two particular guys. Um, so uh I'll let Boston here explain his argument on this particular running back for the LA Chargers.
Chargers. So I truly believe Vidal is going to be the solidified running back number two for these guys, and I I think he's awesome. I think he proved himself last year and how great he was. And I mean, for 2 years in the league, we got 798 yards, three touchdowns. That all came from last year, and he's averaging 4 yards per carry. Not like great, but I mean, to pair him up behind Omari and Hampton is going to be outstanding. And then even look at it like he's gotten 198 yards receiving, two touchdowns off of that, so five touchdowns in his career. He's going to do great. Uh, yeah, he's going to do great.
Okay. So I'm not discrediting what you're saying when it comes to Vidal,
Mhm.
but I think with Mike McDonald in the way that, or Mike McDaniel in the way that he developed Devon Achan, and now he's the offensive coordinator for the Chargers, which is a huge plus
Yep.
because he absolutely loves speedsters. And
Mhm.
so my biggest guy that I really like, and he's been in the league just one more year than Vidal, is Keaton Mitchell. The efficiency that he has. He's an elite yard runner. He's very explosive in the way he runs. If you watch any of his tape, he's very elusive and he's very confident in his runs. Very confident. He has those bursts where if you look at it, if you look at it like Detroit, or if you look at it as Seattle and how they had their running back duos, there was always that, like you talked about, you had Knuckles and you had the speedster. So Jameer Gibbs was the speedster, and you had David Montgomery as the Knuckles, so the power hitter.
Mhm.
So, and then with Seattle, we had Zach Charbonnet, and we also had Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker was your elusive speed runner, and then you had your Zach Charbonnet, where he was that third down power back that Seattle could lean on to get us those first downs or those punch-ins for the touchdowns. So this is where I flip the table, where Omari Hampton is the guy. He is going to be your workhorse. Yes, not discrediting that. I'm not taking away the fact that Amari Hampton is the RB1. Granted, Keaton Mitchell has the explosive ability to be that speedster with the knuckles. And in 2023, he had his breakout year with 47 carries, 396 yards, so about 8.4 yards per carry, and two touchdowns, nine catches, and 93 yards. So then in 2024 was a pretty awful year for him. He unfortunately had an injury, which then took him down, but he had 15 carries and 30 yards with zero touchdowns. But then 2025, he had his little bit of a bounce back year behind Derrick Henry. And even behind Derrick Henry, he still put up 59 carries with 341 touch or yards and 5.8 yards per carry with one touchdown. Again, this is a guy that was behind Derrick Henry. Now he's in a position with a young running back crew as well, and with a offensive coordinator that will know how to use Keaton Mitchell. So the biggest takeaways that I have is his elite efficiency. So he can get about 6.3 yards per carry, kind of. And then his explosive profile, he could pull up a 40-yard run, and take it to the house possibly. Um, I looked at his like the rookies that he went with, um, the year that he got drafted. He is kind of like in that same bubble actually, and this is only his um what do you say, like the last like few years of comparison. So Keaton Mitchell, I compared him with Devon Achan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Kyron Williams.
So my only knock on him is his 23 season torn ACL killed it for him. So he's just injury prone for me. That's my only problem, right?
Yeah.
And then, just he hasn't completed a full season. He hasn't,
It, I mean,
and that's
you're
where
not wrong. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's my biggest upside to Vidal is he's played a full season with these guys. He partial season his first year, and then, but yeah, 8, 5, and then 13 for games played. I don't know. Biggest thing I will say about Keyshawn Mitchell, 8.3 yards average per carry. That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good. So his
As
carry
long
count's a
as
little, but
sorry, no, go. You're good.
to me, his carry count's a little low at only 121 compared to a guy 198. So that might be why it's a little different for
Mhm.
his average, but yeah. Go ahead.
Now, all I was gonna say is if as long as he can stay healthy, you're right. The ACL tear like really tore him up. Um, so as you know, we've seen how receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, even any other position has torn ACLs in the last like 10, possibly 20 years. We see how these ACLs come back, like these players that come back from those injuries, and like almost majority of the time they come back and they're jumping right back where they left off at. And there are those some that just can't do it anymore and fall down and fall behind and get left behind, over the years. So as long as he can stay healthy, I can see him outscoring multiple different workhorse running backs this year. Um, I can see it in a perfect world if he was to be able to manage to stay healthy throughout this year, right? I
Mhm.
can see him potentially being in the top 20 to top 15 running backs
Yeah.
with the amount of explosiveness, the coaching ability, and his speed.
Yeah.
I could see it
Yeah. I can see it too. But
over Vidal. I'm just kidding.
oh, I don't still. When you do bring up a point, like you're sitting behind Derrick Henry, that's kind of tough. You ain't getting reps. Not
Yeah.
behind that man, or not
Yep.
many at least. So I get that.
Yeah. As long as Derrick Henry was healthy, yeah, you're not seeing that field.
Mm-mm. No.
And I honestly thought that he was going to stay with Baltimore because, I mean, how many more years do we have of Derrick Henry realistically? Like, how are they
Yeah.
going to continue to move on after Derrick Henry is gone? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's where I thought I was like, when he was with the Baltimore Ravens and I saw that Derrick Henry was there, I was like, oh, this is perfect. They're looking at the future for Mitchell. But then they let him walk, and then he goes to the Chargers, and then all of a sudden Mike gets there, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like that is a perfect scenario for Mitchell. So I think they're gonna do the same thing like Seattle and Dal or sorry, not Dallas, but Detroit and a couple of these other teams that have tried to do like the 1-2 punch. And they're
Yeah.
gonna use him as your outfielder.
I mean, in a lot of ways, like with Mike McDaniel coming over there, he kind of had that when he had Raheem Mostert
Hmm.
and Devon Achane. So I mean, he's
Yep.
gonna fit in and.
No, I was
Oh,
agreeing.
okay. So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting, I think. So I'm excited to see how the run game works out. I think Omari and Hampton's just gonna pop off, and I think Vidal's just gonna fit right into that RB2 spot and do amazing.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see
We'll
who's
see.
wrong and who was
Well,
right.
We got to hear your guys' comments on that. Who do you guys think's going to do it? Is it going to be Vidal or is it going to be Mitchell?
Yes, please let us know down in the comments, and let us know what you guys' opinions are. We would love to see what your guys' take are on this one. We're genuinely curious, but this was just a fun last sleeper pick that we wanted to start with, and we're gonna continue doing more of these um, each and every week up until the season starts, and then when the season starts, we're gonna get into who to start and who to sit each week as well. So
Get our take, yeah, get our takes on who did well, the ones we picked, and who didn't.
yes, but yeah, definitely comment down below and let us know what you guys' opinions are on either Vidal or Mitchell.
But all day. Come on.
That's it from us today. Pigskin Platoon, where football lives.
And hot takes fly like bad trades.
Two voices, one game.
We'll catch you on the next snap.
Thank you for watching and smash that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you can catch all of the updates on all football from us. And comment down below and let us know how we did and where we can do better at. We appreciate it and have a good one.